It's the real word. It's the real word. It's the real word. It's the real word.
We on a mission and that's bringing y'all the truth. You know the problem, but we get into the root. The devil watching, yeah, he always on pursuit. But Jesus is our rock, so we shall not be moved. We on a winning team, so we can't lose. We say facts, cause we hitting y'all with proof. Started from the bottom, now we standing on the roof. As God as our witness, we gon' make it to the moon. When you want the truth, the world be hiding it. This the real word, we providing it. We got Acee, BK, Truth, Rick Star, and we plan to make a movie like it's Pixar. We came a long way from the plantation. We just tryna save your souls from damnation. So if you down with the message, tune in every week. It will lead you to the message that you seek.
It's the real word. It's the real word. It's the real word. It's the real word.
Welcome to the Real Word Season 7, Episode 28. Shout out to everybody who's been watching. Shout out to everybody who's been supporting us so far, thus far. I'm your host, Jean-Noel. I'm here with my co-host. Introduce yourself.
You already know it's the one and only. Hey, out in the building. Add me on Instagram. A711. If there ain't no 11, I ain't got no T today. You know that ain't me, bro.
Alright. And we got 3 special guests in the building, 3 reoccurring guests, but I'm going to let them reintroduce themselves. Introduce yourself, gentlemen.
James Delpeche.
Alan Delpeche.
The bodyguard.
Yves Delpeche.
Alright. As you can see, all 3 of them is brothers, so we got the trifecta in the building. So shout out to everybody who's been watching. Shout out to everybody that follow us on Instagram. That's at The Real Word Ministries Inc. on Instagram. That's at The Real Word Ministries Inc. on Instagram. Shout out to everybody that follow us on Facebook. That's facebook.com/TheRealWord7. That's The Real Word 7 like Mike Vick. You can also catch us on our official website. That's www.therealwordministriesinc.org. That's therealwordministriesinc.org. Also on YouTube. That's youtube.com/TheRealWordTV. The Real Word TV, one word on YouTube. And also catch us on the Brick Network every Tuesday and Thursday at 12 noon, 4 p.m. and 1 a.m. So what's up, y'all? We haven't been on for the last 2 weeks, but we back with the jump off. So we want to say congratulations to our brother Yves on his new baby girl.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it, man.
All right. So salute to you and wifey, and God bless your new child and your new addition. So tell us a little bit about that, being a father, man. How's that feeling?
It's an indescribable feeling. I'll tell you that much. You know, just to kind of witness my wife, one, be pregnant, give birth to a child, and to see that child for your first time is a tremendous feeling. I think I had FaceTime my brother when I had a baby girl. I was holding her, but it was a great feeling, and it reminds you that you gotta do what you have to do to provide for that child.
Of course.
So it motivates you on another level. It drives you to just do what you have to do, and your sleep will never be the same. I haven't slept the way I would like to sleep in a long time since she's arrived. So I learned that.
And you never will again.
My sleep will never be the same.
Your life will never be the same.
My life will never be the same, but it's a good motivation, and it's interesting how much it's impacted my family, my brothers, my mom, her family, because she brings a lot of joy, to everybody, just calling in, checking to see how she's doing, like my mom calls in, my dad calls in. It's a joy just to kind of continue on with that legacy. I think I'm gonna shoot one more shot. Hopefully I get a boy. If I don't, I'm gonna have to rely on my brothers because I'm done after this second child.
What do you think it is that all of us is getting girls?
I think it's something we want to say. No. I don't think it's anything like that. That's like what's that? It's a good saying, right? But I think it's just it's a trend. Like a lot of dudes that I know who had kids that year ended up having girls. So I just think you kind of met that trend, and that's that's how I got it. So
A lot of us done had girls, bro.
a
It
lot
was
of us.
out populated.
Plus,
men.
I've been I grew up with nothing but males. Like I got tired of seeing males. So much I grew up with them. I had brothers. I got male cousins. I played in different sports from high school to collegiate level. I just been around dudes, so it could factor in. Just saying. I don't mind the girls. What I'm saying.
Yeah, man. I think it's a beautiful thing being a father. Like, I know it changed my life. Like, the other day I was talking to this guy, like, and it's crazy because my mother always says that people will always watch you from a distance, and it always depends on what you're doing when you think no one is looking, right? And so this is a guy I've known for over 5 years, but I see him here and there. I'm not too close to him, and then me and him was talking, and then it was a situation where he was upset, and rightfully so, because he was upset at the fact that he felt that no one was assisting him in his position, because he was in a less fortunate position. And he took me as an example, and he was like, look, when I first met him, he was a specialist. Now I know him 5 years later, and he's a director, and I'm still in the same position I've been in for the last 5 years. Like, that's not fair. And then it got to the point where he was really emotional, and he went through many different emotions. And I was just looking at it from the lens that I've been trained to do at this point. You understand? So I'm taking a step back. But to everybody else, it probably looks chaotic, and in that sense. And for me, it's like one of the things that he said was like, "Yo, you could have been just like me, but certain events in your life, they saved you. That little girl you got at home, she saved you. She changed your life." And he was like, "I know you, bro. You might not think I know you as much as I know you, but I know you, bro. I know where you came from and where you at right now. You came a long way." And it wasn't much I could say to him because he's been studying me. You understand? And he was right. Like, my daughter did change my life a lot, bro. Like, she helped soften up my heart. And it's like, maybe that's why God gave us all those gifts. He was
I was thinking the same way for my little sister. Because before she was born, oh my goodness.
I think another thing too beyond that is just like you hear so many stories about like fatherhood in general, and like how a lot of women are scarred from like the daddy issues in situations like that. And I think y'all been chosen to have women because y'all God trusts y'all with that responsibility. You know what I'm saying? So
because most of these kids be growing up with no fathers.
Yeah, for sure.
But when you, alright, so lately I've been doing psychotherapy, right? And hearing a lot of people's stories and hearing the difficulties that they're currently going through, you start to hear, it's almost like a repeat. You start to hear like everyone's story is more similar than you think. And then you start hearing like the sides of people's lives that you never heard before. Like me, I didn't really know the behind the scenes version of white people's lives until, I started
Behind the scenes?
as in like their personal lives. As in like until they start to share it with me, you understand? And I was like, oh, y'all go through your own sets of things, and you have your own culture, and you have your own words that you say to one another, and y'all have your own social and status class that you go by. Then there's the people that's like, no, I want someone that's more like me, that understands my plight and where I'm going and where I'm coming from. And then you start hearing like people's lives and the things that they went through and the difficulties that they went through, and it's similar to yours. And back to the real word, that just like the Bible, like for every single event that we go through in life, there's a story or there's a character in the Bible that went through the same exact thing, and we already know what the outcome is.
You know what it is. At the end of the day, it's everyone has their own form of diversity, right? Like adversity, not diversity, excuse me. Adversity. And what that means is basically, what the hurdle you face, how did you go about, overcoming those hurdles? And do you give glory to God when you do it? And if you're able to give glory to God and praise Him for those adversities that you face, there's someone down the street who's going through the same challenges, who may not be as mentally tough as you. So being able to share your story to that individual can help shed light to what they need to do and build upon themselves. So I think at the end of the day, everyone's story is different. It's not a competition as far as, what I went through in life is far more worse than what you went through in life, I think whatever God puts in store to you is because He knows you're built for it. Just as my brother said, so.
It is a combination, but between yourself.
Yeah, that's a fact, and I think that's why I wanted to bring all three of you here and bring it full circle, literally, because
competed against each other.
Never.
Because I met you guys at different parts of my life, right? If my memory serves me correctly, I met you first, I believe, in junior high school until 11, and you was in class with Jeffrey Mentos. Jeffrey, yeah, and Jeffrey used to be one of my tenants when I used to live across from over there, and so full circle, like that's how I met you, and that's how we all knew each other, because Jeffrey tell me about you, and I'm like, who's this Yves guy you keep talking about? And then I met you. So, yo, it's Yves, because y'all was in the same class. I think that's how I met you. And then you my brother, and then you and Kamal was neighbors and all that. And then, like, you came to the yard one day, you and Clifton, and then I was like, all right, I got some big dudes on the block. We about to run rampant on these.
I'll never forget that.
And then we would just play basketball. Like, we used to call you Bundy.
Yeah.
We all had nicknames, and we used to tag it on the court in the backyard.
Epic memories.
Yeah, so it was just time, like, just fun, and life just kept going. And then I eventually met you. I believe I met you at a wedding.
Yeah. Whose wedding was it? Kamel's, right?
Nah, it had to be your brother's wedding. I met you first, and then Kamel's wedding.
Kamel was second. Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah, Kamel's
I met you at
second,
your
yeah.
brother's wedding, and then at your Kamel wedding, yeah. And you came on the show, and then I was like, nah, I gotta get the three of y'all. So it's like different memories from different parts of my life, but full circle. Which y'all probably got different memories of me too.
Oh yeah.
So,
I used to see the pictures of you all the time.
yeah.
My brother's Facebook.
And what should be the thought that went to your head when you see the pictures?
He looked just like the pictures. Exactly like the pictures, but I always knew of you, you know what I mean? I've seen pictures I think he was at your wedding
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Same, and
Yeah,
it's just a small world, because your tenants used to be my cousins.
Yeah, facts.
Another thing. So
Yeah, and those are my brothers.
It's just a small world.
Yeah.
I remember playing in it. I was just like, yo, is that my aunt? Like coming in the crib, because I was at the block all the time.
I'll bet.
Yeah, Luigi and Eddie. Yeah,
I didn't know that.
19.
You know, shout out to Edo, shout out to Venom, shout out to G Money,
Yes,
all my boys, and shout out to T Mac. Yeah, man. Yo, it was memories, bro. But that's crazy, because everybody always say that. It was like, you look just like in your pictures, but there be people I meet in real life that meets me online, and I meet them in real life, they look nothing like they do online, and I'm like, who are you? And they be like, and I'm like, huh? And then they be like, forget it.
You gotta divert that. It's crazy.
Yeah, but a lot of women don't look like how
I mean,
they
the
look
makeup,
in real
the
life.
filters, the angle.
Yeah. Crazy.
She started to know this comment. She loves that
They
angle.
use the Snapchat filter.
Nah,
The
sometimes.
snap, the filters, everything. It's a lot. The makeup.
The filters can change your whole face now,
Yeah,
like the
that's a
structure,
fact.
bone structure, stuff like
that's a
that.
fact.
This game's so digital, like
Yeah.
it's kind of
I
crazy.
mean, it is the metaverse now.
Sometimes
Yeah.
you will meet someone in person, and then they'll give you their gram, and you go on their gram, they look better on their gram than they do in person. You look at them, you look at them like, huh? This don't look like the same person.
Crazy.
So I don't know. I guess that's a compliment then, right?
What if they?
No, I look like in person like how I look online.
For sure.
Yeah, man, but
I think that's more so with women. I think with the online stuff,
mm,
that they don't look how they look in person, because there's so much pressure to look a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So
In 2022, you ain't got a BBL, you ain't a winner.
It's unfortunate they got like some unrealistic standards
you
to try
got
to live
girls
to.
like all these fitness chicks. They this is a tricep workout. Her butt is arched out like this.
nah, they like that.
They be
Yeah.
like, wow.
you doing
They-
it on purpose.
They kind of control what you see too, you know what I'm saying? So they need to push that, because it creates. I think one of like the highest industries is like the cosmetic industry, like, you know what I'm
Oh,
saying. So they
really
prey
nowadays.
off of like insecurities in women, or kind of force feed them the insecurities to kind of drive that. You know what I'm
See the
saying?
girls in the gym. I mean, she's doing every workout is for the little time. But squeeze at the top at least. Just going right to it.
Coming to work out too.
Yeah, so there's a lot of like pressure for women to look a certain way.
But let's not sit back and act like there's not pressure for men to look a certain way or men to be at a certain status.
I think we get more pressure than women.
Yeah.
Think so?
Yeah, because the women is the one that blind on this pressure.
Right now,
All of those guys be doing that stuff for the women. That's where they kind of fall short. You know what I'm saying?
You
Like,
got those 6 figures out.
exactly.
Yeah.
The bidding is starting at 100,000 according to
Instagram. What Don says, you the master of what you want. So you know what I'm saying. It just depends what you're trying to entertain. You know?
Of course.
Yeah.
It's whatever you give time to, it's gonna grow.
Exactly.
If you don't put in no work, you ain't gonna see no progress.
And as long as y'all grow together, that's an important thing.
Yeah.
Because you can be with someone who doesn't have much but has the mindset, and then you can help mold that
Girls
person.
ain't waiting for that. I'm waiting.
Well, you also got to be mindful of
yeah.
where she's at in life too. That's also factors in her decision. So if there's someone who's like an older chick, she's gonna put those factors in as far as career oriented, family oriented, all that has to come into play. And then after a year, they're already talking about getting married and having kids. So it really depends on where that female is at mentally, and if they're okay with taking their time. Most of the cases that they're not okay with taking their time. So, and that's why they're single.
But most girls know how to play that little personality role very well. Because it's like this, right? If you start messing with a chick, but you was already hot, you can't tell how real she is.
Right.
Cause like you hot, and we all know when you up, every chick wants you. But when you down,
and the price go up too, though.
Yeah, the price do go up. In 2022, they taxing the game crazy.
When you content and confident in who you are as an individual, believe it or not, they naturally all come to you. So it's just all about
that one's true too.
Fall back and you just have the confidence.
But 2022 confidence
don't
depends what you're selling them, bro.
Don't put it too much in the pedestal. When you put it too much,
I'm not selling no relationship. Not me.
So what you think, James?
As far as what?
As far as what he was saying about the females, like if you guys are willing to grow together, because you said most females are not willing to wait.
Nah, man,
I didn't say most. I just said a lot.
A lot? Okay.
So
that's more than most.
You think they just want to move into a already perfect situation?
I think it depends on the age, like you said. Definitely play a factor. A lot of women pushing 40 don't have kids nowadays. That we hear tick-tock. That clock is ticking.
Yeah.
But
those
clock is ticking.
Those are the women that put their career first, though.
Yeah.
You got to know what comes with putting the career first,
and it costs them.
Another factor too is like from a man perspective, they, especially when the time comes where they're done, playing whatever kind of games they played at a younger age, and now they want to settle down and they're looking for Miss Right. And you got to be mindful that whoever Miss Right, she may have some type of mileage or may come with something. Mileage. I'm referring to, whatever her past, whatever issue she has with keeping a man, you got to factor that in.
How much mileage are you with it?
Or even to the fact, even the fact of them having a previous child in the previous relationship, which is also factors in. So as long as you someone who's not into having someone who doesn't have those, you just got to be mentally for that. You know what I mean? Yeah. So those are all factors that come into play.
That's a big factor. Like a child, didn't grow with a child.
Yeah,
I left the girl for that. Like this kid is annoying.
So how much mileage are you with?
I'm a married man. I can't even speak on that.
How much mileage are you with?
That's I don't know. Like that's information.
You taking a hot looking Infinity?
You're really not gonna know.
You're not gonna know, bro. Like you're not gonna know.
You'll never know. You'll be honest with you. You just gotta. Yeah. You gotta be in that. No.
Trust me. I know. Y'all say there's not ways to know. Yes, there is ways to know.
Nah.
Alright, so put this on.
Yeah, put it.
Whoa, I can't be hearing out all of them.
We'll
I'm not about to be Kevin Sanders.
I mean, there's
like he's gonna hear all that out, but I'm not.
I mean, if you're talking with a female and she's at where she's at mentally, right? I'm not even talking about career
But
wise.
it's
Like,
tendencies though, bro. Like there's tricks you could do. Females a lot of times be full of BS and they put on these roles and stuff. But as men, 9 out of 10 we can't see through them because we too busy trying to get the box. So the fact that we're trying to get the box,
I care about their personality.
all the flaws and all the red flags and everything we don't see because we just want the box. But they show it. But they even admit it to you too. Like when you are more like, if you're not always, if your thing is not moving like, yo, I just want the box, and you start paying attention, you still want the box. But if you pay attention more, trust me, they can't hide it. They can only hide it to a man that like you just so focused on the box and you so focused on it so much you can't really see all the other things that come with it.
Tunnel vision, but that's only if you have.
That's if you controlled by that urge, bro. Yeah, that's on the guy.
That's the men's addiction, right?
Yeah.
If their addiction is sex, and that's all you're gonna keep looking at, and then you're gonna end up with the wrong chick.
Yeah,
And that's what's gonna end up happening to you. You know, like not you per se, but just saying that the people in general. You know what I mean? So
It depends on many factors, I think. And if you look at life, right? Like one thing I always looked at successful people, even older gentlemen, and you look at their biography. Like let's say you go on Wikipedia and you see like they were married 2, 3, 4, 5 times sometimes. Like the average billionaire sometimes. Like there's some that's been with their wives for years, but there's some that it just don't work. And some marriages work, some don't. Just like some relationships work out and some don't. Like just think about how many relationships you've been through in and out your life, how many friendships you've been through in and out your life, how much people that you were so close with that you see every day that you don't even speak to anymore. And that's with like regular people. And after a while they just fade away. So it's like people grow, and sometimes I don't know, some people grow together, some people grow apart. It all depends on like how it is. And sometimes it depends on what you want at the time and what you're attracted to. Sometimes it's perfect example. I got my cousin, like she got 7 or 8 kids, and she always find a man. Like she had this one, when she came to America, she had 3 kids, and then she got 2 more kids, then by another man, and then she got another 3 more kids by another man, and 2 more kids by another man, and then I heard she went to Haiti, got another man. So it's like somebody is like, yo, like, and,
She got a game plan.
and that's a real life story. Like I had a cousin, like he was married back in Haiti, then he came to America, married another woman, then the lady from Haiti came to America, and then he married her, left the other lady, then left her, got back with another lady, had a kid, then got back with the other lady that he had the 2 kids with.
So he just marrying back.
Yeah, that's
Bro, and
it's not valuing like what it's supposed to be about.
And that's I'm saying like that's life. That's why they said that you see things at the funeral, and that's when I saw it at the funeral, because it's like everyone's gonna show up at the funeral, so it's like that's just what it is.
But some people that like if going through that many partners, it's probably a necessity to be with some like a codependency at some
people
point.
are like
you know
that.
what I'm saying? Like
It's
this has to be.
psychologically.
Yeah, like
some people only could see themselves when they're with someone else, and that's why they're not able to survive on their lonely.
Yeah.
So it's like they're always codependent on someone else or something.
Yeah.
very true.
If you always dependent, then you know how those situations can work out.
yeah, that's crazy though.
That-
That's a wild story.
7, I was like, oh,
It's real life. I think she got like 8 or 9 kids now.
My grandmother had 15 kids.
That's why they say that the greatest lesson that life will ever teach you is life in itself. Like,
Yeah.
I remember one time I sat with my
I
grandfather.
have no 15 kids.
I think my grandfather had like 15, I think, 12 or 15. And he was telling me in front of my grandmother one day, he said, yeah, I remember when I had 2 women pregnant at the same time. I had to run to give to be at the birth of one than run to be at the birth of the other one. and my grandmother laughed at his joke, and I was like, yo, like, but she probably heard this like 100 times, like, to be with him for that long. But it's like, that's really life, bro. Like, it is what it is. That's why he said some people could take it and some people they take themselves out. Unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately. But like we were kind of sold like a fairy tale kind of situation too, of what life is supposed to be.
By Disney, and they made billions off of it.
You seen many things that Disney we still watch become reality.
But Jerry Springer showed y'all the truth and I hated it for it.
No, I ain't gonna
more we were.
For me watching Jerry Springer, that was like, damn. It wasn't a good look for these two.
I mean, but that's like programming, bro. Like they showing you the worst of the worst too. That's probably part of the reason why we all got trust issues, because they force poor images throughout our whole entire life. You know what I'm saying? So
a lot of them we create ourselves too.
Nah, but it's all through. It's a socially pushed thing. You know what I'm saying? Like through music, through TV, through everything that you see is kind of force fed, and like even like the thought of monogamy is like not like even appreciated at this sense of time. You know what I'm saying? Where the only reason you're gonna really find value in a relationship is if you seriously growing closer to God.
It's
like spirit, yeah.
It's also your home, right? That's a
I don't think your home got nothing to do with it.
I think
I know people with two parents that live crazy. I know people with one parent live crazy. It doesn't matter.
Healthy home and healthy life.
I think that factors in though.
Development, I think.
I think it's your home and the development. Those are factors.
Home and personal development.
Nah, not personal development. I'm just talking about development as far as like your parents, their value, and what they want to enforce in you growing up. And if you take those values to be who you need to be as you grow up, those are factors. But when you don't have that in the household, that mental aspect, man, I'll bring you, like, this is a whole nother. I remember in high school, Canarsie at that, there was this kid whose blood fighting all the time. Principal told the parents to come in. Parents came in, they had on blood, like red flags, everything. So he got it from his parents. See what I'm saying? So you are enforced with those principles.
That principle
yeah. So, like, how do you break those principles? You know, these are all factors that come in. And this I'm talking about not only just from a individual aspect, but also from even a relationship aspect, right? If you come from a broken home, you're gonna have a broken relationship. Right? Because these are.
I don't think so, bro. Because you think about it, like you just said it. You just said what life is a testimony about experiencing life and adapting
is
to
higher
it.
for someone. If you have a broken home, probability is you may have issues.
You ever heard
Not
about that?
everyone know what probability. Life is a game of probability.
I would recommend, and this is gonna sound great. I would recommend watching a show called, even though I don't personally watch it anymore. This Is Us.
This is
on NBC. And the reason why I even watched it is because I'm in a relationship. I watched the first 2-3 seasons, and
is it like that little emotional type of show?
But what it talks about
is it emotion?
What it talks about really is it talks about everybody's form of post-traumatic stress, and it can be a variation of things. It can be why you're not in a relationship, how you are the way you are, you trigger the way you triggered. And the way the show develops, like it talks about things that are happening in the present, but it brings up what happened in the past and their childhood that led to them to even think like that or who they are. True. So it's very spot on as far as like what triggers post-traumatic stress, and I would recommend anyone to watch it because, believe it or not, these are things that happen in everybody's life. It's factors, it's 100% fact.
Yeah, and that goes back to what I was saying earlier. Like, there is a lot of people that's dealing with trauma. There was a book called Repairing the Inner Child, and it said that there's a child within all of us. Like, you could say that's a spirit that's in us. The one that's happy when we eat a bowl of ice cream, or that's happy when they get a gift and you still laugh. The one when you joke and when you see a friend and you real happy to see your friend. Like, the simplest thing. It's like watching your child. that inner child in you. But as you grow up and
in the playground.
yeah, but as you grow up and then you see the world around you, things start to get ugly. You learn how to lie. You get mistreated and manipulated, and sometimes some kids get abused. Sometimes kids witness abuse, domestic violence in the home, and they got to come up with lies and act like nothing's happening, and it really fucks them up, you know. And people like you and I that look like us, sometimes we're ashamed to go get help, and so we internalize it, and then it comes out sometimes in a negative connotation. Sometimes we try to eat it away. Sometimes we try to fight it away. Sometimes we take it out on other people. Sometimes we take it out on ourselves. Sometimes we drink. Sometimes we smoke. Sometimes we engage in promiscuity or in dangerous activities that we know could lead to harm to ourselves or others. So, you know, that's yeah, I learned this in school. That's why I put it to practice. So I'm really breaking it down for y'all. So sometimes when you don't work it out, it plays on you in and out and over and over and over and over and over. I'm gonna give you guys a real life example from my life. I was in a car with a friend, and they were going through a lot in their lives, you know, in their homes with their parents and everything going on, and they was internalizing it, and they got behind the wheel of a car, and I got into the passenger seat, and they felt at that moment, you know, so they went full speed in the back of a car, and I got hurt from it. Really bad, mentally and physically, you know. And I remember the first time I was going to physical therapy, and I was like, nah, I gotta sit down and talk to somebody. I used to drive all the way to Bay Ridge, sit in some Russian lady house and speak to her. She was my therapist. And I remember the first time I went there, and I was telling her about it, and I was so upset. And I was like, yo, I gotta talk to you about it, because if I don't, I'm gonna hurt somebody. And she's like, no, you gotta let it out. You gotta let it out. And the drive from the therapist to my house, I cried the entire time. I had to let it out, because I had to let that pain out in some kind of way. Because if I didn't let it out that way, it would have been destructive. And I feel like a lot of us don't let it out that way. I remember.
Well, for most part, men, especially black men, we were always raised that, you know, we gotta be tough. We gotta be tough,
and it hurts us the most.
It hurts. We can't afford to be vulnerable, because we've been vulnerable for the Lord knows how much, you know. You know, so
because there's no one to protect us.
There's no one to protect us, right? So, like, I just think from a mental aspect, it's okay to lean on your brothers to have a conversation and be vulnerable to your brothers. You know, it's who you do it with. You gotta trust, right? Those are all factors that come in. But luckily, you know, I'm blessed with two brothers, you know, and, you know, our relationship got stronger over the years. You know, it wasn't the best initially, but it was because we were in three different generations, right? Like high school, junior high school, whatever, you know, so, but as you get older and you realize the importance of family, and, you know, you can have these conversations with family, that's who you gotta lean on. You know, like I said, I'm fortunate and blessed to have brothers, but, you know, I encourage anyone who, you know, having these mental aspects of just, you know, not sure who they need to talk to, just, you know, try to find that individual you can have that conversation, because mental health is important.
How you feel about that?
Mental health?
Yeah.
Well, very important. I mean, it's just as important as physical health, but mental health is like, even like the personal training, you tell, like, mentally people, you can make someone lose weight, gain weight, reach their fitness goal, but mentally they don't see it in themselves. That's how it is. Like, everything is real mental, even with, like, working out in the gym. Most people go to the gym to feel good, because it releases the endorphins and everything like that, right? And so, like, when you talk about mental health in general, I think it's the most, I might say it's a slightly, I can't say it's better than physical health, because physically, if you damage, you're going to die, right? So, but mentally, I think that there's more people dealing with mental illness than anything else, because you could hide it.
And you lean towards things that, you know, lead to your, you know, a downhill life, like drugs.
Yeah.
Escaping with sex, you know, like escaping with other things, right? So you're not really getting that closure that you're looking for if you're not talking about it, or at least having to hear it from other people that may have gone through these issues. You won't know until you're able to talk to people about it, right?
Yeah, facts. And I think one of the things I started doing, even with the churches, I remember the first event that I did was a group therapy session and I called it I Care as part of a series of events I'm gonna be doing throughout the year. So in I Care, basically I asked the youth how many of them felt like there were people that cared about them during the entire lockdown, during COVID, and a lot of them felt almost the same, like no one cared about them during that time. And I had to let those feelings and grievance out so that they can see that a lot of people are going through a similar thing, as in a lot of people going through the same exact thing, ironically enough, and it's hurting a lot of people, and a lot of people want a safe space to talk about it. Like the other day when I was on ZocDoc, I had so much appointments I had to close my calendar. Like that's how much appointments I was getting back to back to back to back to back. And I was like, yeah, we think the fungus amongst us is bad. Imagine the one that's going on that we can't see.
And you
That's
know,
the biggest one of all.
and I think COVID kind of opened.
Can't
people's
say that.
eyes. Can't say that.
I think that time was like you said.
Yeah,
I think COVID was
I think when everything got taken away from certain people,
Saying that word messes up rhythm.
Oh, word?
Yeah.
Oh, I heard that.
Yeah.
I did hear that.
Yeah.
They try to use other words.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I'll
does,
just
right?
refer
It
to as
Our YouTube is suspended right now.
Because of that?
Because of that rhythm.
Okay.
Yes, it's something.
I'll say when things were
Until
shut down,
April.
right? Yeah, I'll just say
Man,
when
that's
things were
crazy,
shut
bro.
down. You know, a lot of things were obviously shut down. Gyms, you know, things that people that were using things to escape from to help from their mental health was
But-
taken away. And all you have was
reality.
Huh?
Escape from reality.
Yeah.
Now they got the metaverse for next time.
Yeah.
You know, so
I mean, you can't really escape that much from going to the metaverse, really.
oh man, it's
It's
metaverse
crazy.
stuff.
Yeah, I think that situation definitely forced like a period of self-reflection on everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like you kind of.
I think that really tested everybody's mental state. That's what I look at COVID as to me. Everybody mental state got tested. Because to me, I look at life like this, right? In a mental game, either you playing chess or checkers. And if you playing checkers, you gonna lose. Because COVID proved it to us right now. You know, like now, everything about to go back to normal. Vaccination about to be uplifted and all that, you know.
Yeah,
Basically, like,
it's about to go back
it's
to
like a
normal.
series of, all right, you survived this round, we got the next round coming.
Yeah.
And you know, the new round is Ukraine.
Maybe it was normal the entire time and we just didn't know.
Yeah.
But
It felt like it. It's like we was talking about earlier. The last 2 years flew by.
It really did fly by though.
Look,
It really did.
Look, 2 years ago, March. 2 years later, in March.
Exactly.
It's like,
Because at one point I was saying, I remember at one point I was seeing people in cars with masks and
I didn't really piece that together, but it is really.
It's always in the map. It's always
I
in the
mean,
map.
honestly, I think you just can't stress what you can't control. And a lot of those factors is out of your control, so you can't really like let that put you in a negative state of mind. Like you only choose your response. You know what you were saying, like in terms of like your circumstances and what you brought up into. It reminded me like that parable where they show like these two sons that had the same father, and one father was an alcoholic. One turned into alcoholism, and one was sober-minded, and that's because one chose to never be like their father, and one chose the image of seeing what they saw. So no matter what, it depends on the individual, and your response is going to be to whatever traumatic experience that you get. You either are going to fall closer to something constructive that's going to build you up, or you're going to fall to something that's going to be destructive that tears you down, and you're going to continue to just repeat the same lessons in life until they're learned. And you're going to like you said with the trauma, you start to reiterate it. So till that point of self-reflection comes for every individual to sit down and be by themselves and really dig deep into why they react to certain things a certain way. That's what's going to lead to the changes of certain stuff. You know what I'm saying?
I think depression and all that is going to get, it's at an all-time high, or it's going to get higher.
it's going to get high.
Because of the phones.
Technology,
Yeah,
like,
technology.
Organically, you're supposed to meet people like, you know how many people, like, I tried to call a girl, and she said, she texted me, hey babe, did you call me? Like, yeah, pick up the damn phone. You talking about you can't connect with somebody, but how you gonna connect through messages? You gotta hear my voice. Me,
Nah,
you know what I
that's
mean?
right.
Like we don't interact with people no more, and this metaverse is gonna make it worse. Like your human brain and your body is not catching up with technology because your body expects you to communicate with other people, especially black people. We're really tribal like people. You know what I mean? We still are, but like with the Instagram, Facebook, and all that, it's shaping ourselves. Like I go to these parties, and I go to like a white party, and these people are party. You go to a black party, everyone's just standing there, $200 sneakers. You can't even. It's like, why'd you wear the sneakers if you don't want them to get scuffled in a crowd? I mean,
that's how you get a sick.
I've had my best time with like diverse crowds. Like when I was working at my old job, like
they go there with the purpose of having fun. You're supposed to go there to have fun. You don't go there to look cool and look tough. It's like, what is this? And these are grown people, not even like little kids. You talking about people in their 30s still doing that.
That's like, honestly, that's why I can't get into like that scening, because even when we used to party back then, it was actually like joyful. Like you would actually dance. We had free minded. It was fun. And then as social media grew, it's like no one wants to. You can't be. You know, camera's like an image you got to uphold and stuff like that. And then it just started to decline. And then it became this facade of like people having fun for like 2 minutes in front of their selfie, and after that they just stand there. You know what I'm saying? Just like it just shifted from what it really was. It just seemed ingenuine.
After my generation, them party days of fun was over.
It's that the metaverse where they look like they're having the time of their lives and online, but in person they're a bunch of weirdos.
Exactly.
It's all a persona, like you said.
Yeah.
You know, they make it look like they're doing one thing and it's another, and it's about getting your media, like getting your popularity out there. Because what else is the reason why you're on your phone rather than the people that you're around, so you can communicate? Some people can't. They don't even know how to communicate amongst other the crowd, but they can communicate with their.
That's the same with the Generation Z. It's like they're gonna have their social issues and stuff like that.
They're gonna have awkward moments of communicating with other people. They can't talk.
Right.
Social skills down.
These kids, I heard it's hard for these kids to communicate because it's so, like, because all they know is like their phones. You know what I mean?
And I think that's why certain people be surprised when you're the same online as you are in person, when you look the same too. Like, oh shit, you're real.
Robot man. It's not no robot man.
Yeah, but I think that's what every part of your life, like, as long as you're willing to do things, you're gonna have to build upon things, and you're gonna have to strengthen where your most weak is. Just like how all you guys work out, about that. The muscles that are the most weakest, those are the ones that you want to stretch out, the ones that you want to build up, and you want to build that resistance. And that goes back to overcoming adversity. One thing that I learned a lot during my studies is he who overcomes the most adversity is the person that's going to be the most successful, because everything that life threw at them, they didn't quit. Like yo, I could have been an alcoholic, I could have been a drug addict, I could have been this person, I could have been that person. Like, nah, I just didn't quit. Like, I had to do different things, and that's what we go back to the guy who was crying, talking about, yo, it's been 5 years, I'm in the same spot, and he's directing the other, and the third part was like, yeah, you should be congratulating him, because look what he was able to do in such a short amount of time. But I'm still willing to help you through your struggles, and he's willing to help you through your struggles too. But you gotta take accountability yourself, and a lot of us don't want to take accountability.
That's what the reflection is. Accountability is knowing where you can improve. If you're not really honest with yourself, then you're never really gonna face. It's gonna be like a victim mentality. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I hate when people want to play.
You can't play the victim, bro. Like,
especially when I know the Carfax. Like, come on. You really playing this move on me? That's gonna piss me off even more. Really, I don't like that part.
Yeah, that stuff was crazy, bro. Like, it's a movie.
Facts.
When people buy into the perception that you're painting online, like they get immersed in it. Like, they don't understand that for you, you're painting the picture and building the facade, but they're falling into the illusion, and it's manipulating their minds, and therefore they start to feel for it, and that illusion becomes a reality, even though it's a distorted reality. It becomes an actuality. And that's where power lies.
So, like, you got to be careful with the social media. It's very useful. It used to be more beneficial before Facebook.
Yeah,
More
yo, back in
Instagram.
the days, Facebook
Started
was-
killing the algorithms, and is that going to affect anything that I'm saying?
No, you good. Just certain words and certain, you know.
Thing.
Yeah, I'll tell you later.
You know what I mean? Like, so like back then it was more useful. Now it's like we're being used by these social media apps. You're not getting as much promote. If you promote something positive, I promoted something that it was like a funny, but it was kind of like a disrespectful video. I got like double, triple the views. I'm like, this is crazy. But if I post something like positive or promotional, our views be like, I'm like, yo, this thing.
Yo, bro,
It's so
same thing,
Yeah.
bro.
Like, yo, when I try to
They
promote
want you to
shit,
pay for it. That's what it is. It's
Everybody
not-
will see.
You gotta pay to play.
You gotta
yeah,
pay,
you
you
know.
gotta
So
pay.
like we're basically being manipulated.
Anything,
You're being
even
controlled.
down
They
to the
control
name.
what you see, and they control what you get. Other things that people see on your page. If I do something negative, it go viral. If I post something of someone getting knocked out, it's like 500 people watching.
World star.
That's why you
Yeah.
gotta show up in real life, and that's where you beat them really in real life.
Mhm.
Exactly.
In the pressure. That's why, like, if I'm in a relationship, I don't like to post on Instagram, I love you, because you might find a guy like me, like, yo, what happened to who's this guy now? And then you get blocked.
It be like that
I
sometimes.
thought,
Terrible.
this is the love of my life. I'm like, what happened to the guy last week who was the love of your life?
That's life, man. It be like
It's
that
always
sometimes.
gonna be that one dude in
Yo.
your comments that post that too.
Like, wait a minute.
Fact. But yeah, man, I think life gives us real life examples of every single scenario that we can think of, and we look at every different life, and we see how characters are, how different individuals are. Sometimes even if we're from the same country, the same city, the same state, the same borough, even from the same family, sometimes you see how different individuals are, and how some individuals are the same at the same time. And then we are having this human experience where we all going through these emotions, we going through these motions, and some of us are more comfortable within it than others. You know, that's so we see the secure people, the insecure people, the people that need to behave in a certain way, and certain people that could just, you know, deal with it. So I feel like it's good for men, especially like, you know, us, to have these conversations openly, and, you know, be able to express these feelings and express these emotions, because for a long time men couldn't have these conversations. Why y'all think that is?
Because how society shaped and wanted us, basically how society shaped and molded us to be, like, just be tough, suck it up, and keep going. Like, don't get no help, don't try to, basically don't care. Society want to mold us men, like, we don't care about your mental, just keep working. Because that's really how I see our society.
You can also view from it from a household standpoint too. When you're a man, you're supposed to be the man of the house. You know, you're supposed to provide for your kids, and your chin's supposed to be up regardless of any of the circumstances that you're facing. Like, your chin has to be up. So even if you don't have kids, but that aspect is there, so you're gonna have that mindset. And this reflection of what's wrong with today's society, not in a negative way, of course. More, I'm just getting at as far as the root of why I think men are not able to articulate, you know, how they feel or comfortable with how they feel, especially if they're having down moments. You know, because it's going to be it shows a form of weakness, which I don't think it is a form of weakness. I think if you're able to talk about some things that you're challenged with, you know, what better way than to have someone who can kind of give you their opinion on how you can overcome those challenges and make you a better you, right? So if you're not able to articulate, you won't know unless you have those conversations. How are you going to be how are you going to be knowledgeable if you're not, you know, obtaining that knowledge from someone else who may have gone through it, or you read about it or something, right? Someone had to tell that story for you to understand what's going on, and you can relate to it or learn from it. So I think these are all factors that come in.
Now, how you feel about this conversation, Alan? I know lately you've been on this spiritual journey. So I know a lot of things that was said during this conversation resonated with you.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, like, I guess, like, like we said, your life is a testimony. Whenever you're chasing something that you really desire, it will be tested because God wants to see how bad you really want it. And when you get there, you know what they say, new levels, new devils. Everything's going to come with something that's going to require you to get new information to share with other people and motivate other people, because that's really what it's going to come down to. You have to be the prime example of what you want to see from other people. This life is like a mirror. We all mirrors of one another. You attract the energy that you put out, so you want to make sure you're putting out positive energy on a consistent basis. So even when you are challenged, it's like you roll your sleeves up and you kind of like understand that God's choosing you to do something really great here. So that's what that challenge is for, is to be a prime example for the next person for you. And even if people are scared to talk about their challenges, they can see the challenges and see the overcoming of the challenges, and that already alone is a testimony. You don't have to be a public speaker, you just have to be the prime example of what you want your neighbor to be, and that's it.
James?
Yeah, I agree with what Alan said 100%. I'm more spiritual than anything. I believe in God. I should go to church more, but it's just hard, you know. I just can't be in church. But to have a personal connection with God,
it's all about the personal connection.
And I want to reiterate that you don't have to go to church to do that. I don't want to get that stigma. I think what's important, it's not a building, because even us talking about it,
people who.
I agree. I don't want to get into this. Another topic. The fact that we even talking about it now, it's like, this can be considered a church at the end of the day. I just want to make sure you understand. I think church is meant for where you can receive the word, because you're not being fed with the word. If you are someone who understands the word, who understands what's going on, who understand that God is who He is, and if you're able to, you hear a brother talking about some issues that they're facing, you can talk about it from a biblical perspective on how he can overcome it. You're speaking the gospel. That's what the church is meant for. But if you don't have to go there every other day, right? I'm not saying it in a negative way. I'm just saying
apparently this is church.
But I do agree that you should go to church if you're not being fed properly.
But this is the church. That's what I'm basically saying.
Yeah.
The church is the people. It's not the building.
Right.
Some people think it's the building. Like, I'm not in the building.
Yeah.
I'm not getting the glory blessings of God. You don't need to always be in that building.
I think it's important though, depending on.
I mean, look. If I give you an example right now. If I'm always out here, one person's always out giving out to the community, but then the other person just preaching, who's really gonna get the
message? This is where I agree with you, and this is where I said to an extent I agree with what you're saying. All I'm getting at is, I don't think, like you said, you don't believe mentally, you don't believe that you're not where you need to be at spiritually. And if you challenge yourself to just be where you need to be at spiritually, you'll never say a comment like that. And that's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
100%. You know what I mean?
4 hours though?
Some churches don't finish till 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock?
Yeah.
Gotta get these taxes paid, bro.
I think first you just gotta know yourself, and then you gotta understand the God in you.
Exactly.
So because salvation is personal. Like, yes, church is good because it's like a hospital. It's full of broken people that gather together that's trying to get it right. So everybody's giving their interpretation. Preachers, pastors, whoever that's preaching the word based on their knowledge and understanding. And there's also people that's coming there looking for the word and trying to find God. That's why they're called, quote unquote, a flock. But you don't necessarily have to go to church to find God, and you could be going to church and never find God.
Amen.
So
which was worse?
It's also a ministry, like you said. Like, this literally is a ministry. When the church building shut down, we did the Real Word Church here, as in, like, we did the church service here, and so it's more so a mind state, a mindset, and some of us minds is out of place. It's not set correctly. Just like some of our hearts is not set correctly. Some of our body parts. It's like, when you go to physical therapy after a car accident, they're like, yo, I'm gonna adjust your body. I'm gonna set your, I'm gonna readjust your bones. I'm gonna set them back into place. A will alignment. You gotta realign yourselves. And sometimes we just gotta realign ourselves with the right form of thinking, the right people, and, with the right higher power. So for us to close out, what y'all want to leave the people with? I'll let y'all pick who go first.
Everything in life comes with a price.
I gotta say a quote.
So whatever closing thought you would have to leave the people with, that's up to you.
Well, first and foremost, thank you for having me. Thank you for having my brothers. It's gonna be a definitely memorable moment
in history.
To the show, at home watching. Thank you for watching. Kiss Malia for me. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Hopefully this was very informative. Hopefully you got some knowledge, some tea from this, and I'm looking forward to attending the next show whenever that time comes.
All right.
Yeah, always a pleasure. Definitely gonna go down in the history books for me, from remembering this moment to share some good quality time with the family, and also stay uplifted with some brothers that I grew up with. So it's always a beautiful thing. I mean, a lot of positive words were said, a lot of perspectives were shared here, and I think that a lot of people viewing it can take a lot from it. So it's always some golden words spread here.
Thank you for having me. I had a really good time. Hopefully I'll come again. I wasn't out of pocket, right?
Out of pocket for what?
No, I'm just being funny. But I enjoyed myself. The topics were great. Enjoy your show. Keep doing your thing.
Alright. I thank you all for watching. I thank you all for joining us tonight. You want to close out with a prayer?
I got to do the prayer. Yeah. You said you're spiritual, right? Yeah, spiritual. Yeah. God, thank you for everyone that's in here. Thank you for having my family with me, all of them, brothers from another mother and brothers from the same mother. God, protect us, guide us, give us the mental toughness, the physical toughness, and the spiritual toughness to follow your word, follow the path, and to be righteous. Protect us in a world full of evil, full of war, and full of despair. Make sure that everyone has the confidence and the patience to reach all their personal goals, family goals, and to unite everyone. God, protect us, bless us, love you, amen.
Amen. So we thank you for watching. We thank you for joining us. God bless and good night.
Good night.
Yeah, man.
It's the real world.